Hey, welcome to the Naked Truth. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to have like the battle of the sexes.
No, pussy is not a gift.
Even if it's two pussies.
Y'all already starting shit. Then we finish it. How do you feel about your man helping you shit? Okay, we're done. Hey, welcome to the Naked Truth. Hey, Truthers. Welcome to the Naked Truth. I got two of my girls with me. I got
Candace.
And I got
in Precious Time.
I know you guys missed her. She's so silly. So she's back today.
Yes, I am.
So we're gonna get straight into it. Okay, girls, what is your current dating like? What is it like right now for you guys? You got a special someone? Or are you dating?
I'm not dating. I'm not ready to date and be serious, to be honest. Right now I'm just playing the field and I'm just being honest.
Okay. That's what's up.
I mean, I have a situation right now.
Okay. A little wee, okay.
A little wee, you know.
What's a little wee? What's a little wee?
A
little situation.
situation, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're a little private. For me, I'm not dating at all. I'm back into celibacy. Oh. So I'm just like cleansing my body and, you know, doing
self-care.
me.
Yeah.
Self-care.
It's a good feeling. Good feeling.
Yeah, so that's
good
about
for
it.
you, girl.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the stuff that's going on. Like, how do y'all feel about the abortion bans and stuff like that?
Oh, my goodness. I woke up to that.
But so
like
to be clear, they said it has nothing to do with Pennsylvania.
So basically, they passed they passed the bills so that in the states that everyone who wants to be a part of it can be a part of it. And of course, a lot of the southern states already are in process of making that a thing. But it looks like the West Coast, California, they are trying to make it a safe haven for women who need to still get abortions to get over there to do so, or any other, or, you know, actually there's a couple of companies that people work for that I saw, like Disney, etc., because I can't remember all of them, but they're also going to help with making sure women who need to get abortions can, you know, get transportation safely to the places where they can legally do so.
So that was my question. So if you live in California or wherever it's at, wherever it's banned, you can come here to like Pennsylvania and get your abortion?
It's not banned in California. Okay. They're basically saying like they're not going to go through with that. Okay. And a lot of the southern states and some other states that we probably would assume that they were going to do it anyways have started their process already. As of right now, it seems as though Pennsylvania is not going to be a part of that, but I'm not sure.
So they can come here and get it done. Those
I believe you can still do it here. I think that our government is allowing that still.
Wow. Well, good thing I'm practicing celibacy because you're going to catch me.
Yeah, at a time like this, you want to make sure that you are not just out here willy-nilly just doing whatever with anybody because...
Protect your box, okay?
Please.
For real, keep it on lock.
Please.
For real. Okay, so what are some little things that men do that make you guys upset?
Lie.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, he's fucking lying. Yes. Yes, what else?
Nonchalance.
Trying to act hard, like
or try to act like you're not pressed, things like that. It's like I don't know, like you don't have to be a fool, but
let me know how you feel.
Let me know something,
because it's like, well, what are we doing here? Yeah, if you're not acting like you don't care, it's like, well, what the hell are we doing here?
I don't like when they don't listen, when they don't hear you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Definitely, that's one of my pet peeves. I don't like in communication. I don't like when I'm not just gonna say with a male, but just people, period, when they talk at me instead of to me. It's all about communication. Yeah.
There's a way to go about it because it's like, don't belittle me, but you know, let me know what's going on. We could talk about it in privacy, or you can just
you don't got to be frustrated about how you bring it to me. That's what upsets me.
Try to make me feel small.
Right.
I feel that's annoying. That is.
Yeah. Because I really don't have really issues with that because I'm like a male myself. I play the game. I've been taught by one. So now I'm playing the game, and now it's more so of me. You know what I mean? They're upset with. Okay?
She said I'm taking over.
That part.
Yeah, well, I know that's right, never wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So do y'all feel like people carry around bad spirits?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, I do, because some people have negative ways of thinking, and then they like project that on to others. So I try to stay away from those type of people.
Right.
I truly believe that.
I truly
that
do too.
Aura, it could wear, it could get off on others.
Yeah.
So I try to say
and I have to be careful who I bring into my house.
Yeah, that it's all
Definitely.
one and the same. Who comes into your home, who comes
Right.
into your life, your presence, or
Yep.
who knows about like some good news that you have going on. Because
Yep.
people can like manifest bad things for you.
That's crazy.
Behind your back and
I was
all
just
of
about
that.
to post a meme like that. I said, "Be careful. Don't tell bad spirits good news." It was
Definitely.
That's very true.
Definitely.
Or who you allowing
'Cause it
into
could bring
your
you
box.
down.
Yep.
I was just about to say that's a big
yeah.
thing. Letting someone enter your,
Yeah,
box.
because that energy's, you're taking in that energy. You guys are doing something intimate, and that energy is passing off.
Yep.
They might suck you of your good energy, but you're definitely going to get some of their negative.
Yep.
Right, and
Yeah, you
even
gotta-
though the horses are all right, you can't be getting bad energy now.
You just got to pick the right horse. We were just talking about that.
So sometimes it
But
ain't
you
worth
never
it.
know.
You never know.
though. That's the scary thing about it is because when you meet someone and say y'all's kicking it for a while or whatever, and he's pretending to be that good person because he wants you. He know what he's out to do. The next thing you know, you really get to know him, and it's just like that
So
bad
true.
energy.
That's what
No,
we
so
were
true.
just
We were talking about that.
that.
Like how you got to go
Yes.
through situations with someone to figure out how
How
they
they
really
really
get
are.
down. But another thing is like, we all can have some negative energy.
We
sometimes.
do.
We go through things. I mean, it's life. We're all human. So,
Right.
when with that, you just got to be responsible. Be accountable for the fact that you're going through something at the moment and that you have this negative energy that's harboring on you and that you don't want to push it off on others. But as far as people who are just negative, that's different. Like,
Right.
you don't want them around you at all. Like,
Right.
no time.
Right. So
because they're going to turn everything negative.
Right. I think that's a good outlook. So let's talk about what you just said, because I was just talking to you about that.
Okay.
Guys pretending to be someone that they're not to get what they want,
Right,
and
to
then
impress.
they show their true colors. It's like these guys be really fucking imposters. It's like that shit is scary. But
It
here's
is
my
scary.
thing: you playing all these game manipulation and shit on us. Manipulate some other motherfucking body to get you where you at in life.
Well, that's
No,
the thing.
just try to better yourself.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
But what I'm
definitely.
saying, I'm saying, like, if you got a business or something, you got to talk your way into
Oh,
some
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
do it
yeah,
in
yeah.
a positive way. Like,
Yep.
why are you trying to do it to where it's knocking somebody else off their, square? Like, that's
But
weak as hell to
sometimes
me.
they've been
Yeah.
doing it for so long, they don't even realize that they're being that negative type of person because they're so used to that character that they done build within
And
themselves.
they just went to the next person instead
Right.
of looking
It's
within
like the devil.
themselves. So no one
That's
ever really
so
got the chance to
bad.
probably check
That's
them on
so
it.
bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. You have to be a different type of person.
Scared.
But then it makes me think, they have to have a lot of insecurities to pretend to be somebody else for so fucking long. They gotta lose themselves somewhere. It's like, do you even know who you are at this point?
For sure.
That's
And they probably
bad.
don't. And that's the thing. Like, it's more people than that's out here trying to be something that they're not, and then they lose themselves in that process, and they don't know who they actually are. So they're never going to be really happy. So they're
Right.
just going to play games with all the people around them.
Right.
And then the thing about how you were saying, like, why don't you go do that with somebody else? They pretty much pick the people that they feel like they could do that to.
Right.
People with good hearts. People try to see past the bad in people.
Yeah,
They pick you guys, us, out. They pick us out specifically because they see those traits and they're like, oh, I could get over on her.
Yeah, but
Or them.
see, that's the thing. So these guys be, reading the 48 laws of power and shit. And it's like, y'all guys don't know
apply.
it's for power
Yeah,
to
don't
get you
apply with
going.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
for you to get some pussy. Like, come on. If you got to do all that to change your personality to get some pussy, then you ain't that nigga.
I don't think they're changing their personality. I just think they've been going with it for so long and getting away
you
with
think
it
they
that they
forgot
got
who
to
they
adapt. Yeah.
That's bad.
And it could be just coming from like the household. You know what I mean? And they don't even realize it. It's how they was raised.
That's so bad. We gotta
That's
be
very
really
true.
careful who we let around us, because I don't
Definitely.
want that kind of
Yeah.
person around me.
I don't
and it's
neither.
good to acknowledge that because there was a point in time where we all were out here just, doing whatever, and we didn't know that people like this even existed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now that we're aware,
Right.
that makes you want to think like twice before just going with anybody or doing anything with anybody, having somebody in your personal space.
Swear.
Yeah, it comes with growth, I feel.
I
because-
think for me, I was already aware those people existed, but I wasn't aware that those people that are close to you, those people you call your friends, those people you call your lovers,
Yeah.
your partner. It's like you look past that because you don't want to see it because you love them, those people, And it's just bad. You can't, I don't know, it just seems like you can't trust people nowadays.
No,
you never know.
It's easy to overlook somebody that close to you because you would never imagine that they would do you like that. And it's sad to say this, but you have to go about things like believing and knowing that anybody could do anything to you, could do you wrong.
And I'm learning.
You know what I mean?
And I'm learning.
Don't underestimate anyone.
Yeah, that's what my sister told me. Don't put don't put nothing past you. Anything can happen. Somebody can backdoor you any second.
And that's crazy because the age that I am now, and I'm really noticing that because my mom had told me something and it sticks to me like now. And she was telling me a story, and she was like, yeah, they did this. I was like, well, Mom, maybe she's like, Courtney, no.
Right.
This is what the fuck it is. You got to stop seeing the good in people. Stop it. This is what happened. I was like, okay, Mom. So after she said that, I realized, like, I got to stop seeing the good in people because.
Yeah, and let them show you for who they are.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't
making excuses because you care about those people. So,
don't let the world make you bitter, but you do have
careful.
to look at what it is versus the potential that you feel that someone may have.
So pretty.
Thank you. So cute.
Thank you.
Like a little mermaid.
Hey, swear we are like a mermaid.
Snatched on this.
I'm just hoping this look good on camera.
Girl. Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about some intimacy. So how do you guys feel about bedtime toys?
I don't play with them.
I like that you called him that. That was cute. He gave it a little ring.
The razzle-dazzle.
You know, girl. Yeah, I don't feel no way. I don't feel wrong about it.
She's like, I'm all for it.
You know, nothing wrong about it.
It pleases you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get the right ones, do the right things with it. You know,
I was totally against it, and then once I entered that level of celibacy, and I was like, I'm not dealing with nobody, and I wasn't with like toys and stuff, but I got one. Shoot, I'll be in there like.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm just not into it.
I had to break that. I had to break that. I was like, no, I'd rather do this than deal with some guy that's just fucking all these girls.
You know what's so crazy though? I'm okay with just not having sex.
Yeah.
You know, I can go without. There was at one point in time I had sex in 4 years. It's so peaceful. I love it.
Me too. Before this, I was what, celibate for like 2.5, 3 years.
Boy, there's no need to have the toy. What changed? What's wrong? You getting older? You missing out on something?
I need the horse.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like,
no, there's nothing.
To do it or to not do it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
I think it's good because I feel like I learned my body myself. Like,
and that's a pro to it. Like, there's pros and cons. There's a pro to it. That's one pro. You know, you get to explore yourself, what you like. And, being that you could do that to yourself, you know how to direct somebody to do this to you.
Exactly. See, that's another the problem. I ain't got time to be exploring. I need the person that knows what he's doing and how to get it right.
I feel like
I feel you, but they can't reach your mind all the time.
But I feel like once you learn,
you gotta figure it out.
But once you learn your body, like, I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, I might be too much, but I feel like I had the best orgasm with a fucking toy because I knew my life.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, ain't nothing wrong with penetration. The real shit. Yes, I want. I want it to be with somebody that I'm with. I'm not with just fucking around with somebody. I'm just not.
And there's just different types of toys. You don't have to do penetration. You could get toys for stimulation. Like, sometimes it may be like you're really not into it, or you just didn't find the right toy that you may like.
Well, that may be it because I only had 2 toys out of my life, and I used them twice.
If you're willing, just try out different ones and see how you feel about it.
That's a waste of money.
Well, here's the thing. There's sales sometimes, depending on
there's sales, but if I don't like it, I can't recycle.
You're absolutely right. So, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to explore that, that's how I would recommend. But if you're not into that,
I'm not into wasting money.
And another thing, exactly, I'm not either. And another thing along with that is like, sometimes you just gotta see if it's an insecurity thing. Like, not saying that's because you're beautiful. I'm not saying that's the case for you. I'm saying, like, sometimes you could be a little, like, I'm body shy.
Okay.
So it could be like one of those things like, oh, what am I doing right now? That feels silly. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's not silly. You just gotta. Sometimes it's mind over matter. You gotta tell yourself, like, okay, I'm not silly. Like, I'm grown. I'm doing something that is totally fine. You look it up. You do research. It is normal to masturbate. Actually, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be happier in life if you're doing that. I'm not saying go do it because of that. I'm just saying, like, studies show that you're relieving yourself on a regular basis, you kind of you're not tense, you're not holding a lot of stress. But if you choose not to do that, that's fine, because there's people that's just not into sex, and that's totally fine, and they find other things to do to bring peace to them. And
and that's how I am.
Yeah, so it could be one of many things, but it's okay if you do or if you don't. But if you are curious, then like just give it another try. It might not be the right thing.
I'm 37. I don't.
To add on to that, I think also
you've been doing fine, I'm sure.
I think to add on what you're saying as well, I think you have to know exactly where your spot is, like where it's at, like what makes you kind of happy. You got to learn yourself. So if you're not hitting the right spot, you're like, okay, this ain't working for me. But once you find, yes,
that's how you found your spot.
Okay. Yes, girl.
She said, "Well, inquiring minds need to know something, because did you?"
I'm like, okay, now I know.
And good for you, because that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing, because I don't know where my spot is, but who cares? Because that one person does.
Oh, that's all. A lot of men don't know.
Yeah,
they don't know.
Don't.
Yeah, they don't. So,
all right. To that.
Well, do you blame them? Because a lot of us women don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. I think it's better for you to learn your body so you can help somebody else learn your body.
Yeah, she said, "I'll drink to that." Now that was a good one.
Yeah. So, what do you think is better, Henny, like a Henny horse, a perk horse, or a toxic horse?
I was just thinking about this a couple of days. Wait, you got to answer, because I got to remember what I was thinking.
Okay,
you said a Henny horse, a
perk horse, or a toxic horse.
Or a toxic horse. Lord Jesus, wow. We'll start with the fact that I have never had a perk horse.
Me neither. I'm scared of that.
I don't know what that's given.
That's given a long time.
I'm just going to leave that up to those who are aware of that, because I don't even know what that's given.
I only thing that I heard about is it's a long time. You be at it for a long time, and I ain't into hours and hours.
Well,
of
how
sex.
would y'all know if they was on a perk or not?
Cause you can tell.
How?
Their eyes, and if you a lot of the guys in the city be on pills. You got to pay attention. You know what I mean? They get on those pills and they drink liquor.
Well, I don't know the look.
I will say that I don't know the specific look, because a lot of the different drugs that people do these days make you look kind of similar. I actually feel
that's true.
Like your eyes are dilated with a lot of different things, so it's kind of hard to tell. I know Dirk be looking like this, but I don't know if that's all he did. You know what I mean? And I think it's based off of knowing that person and what they do. Maybe that's a way, but that is a good question, because I was thinking that myself, like, have I ever? Because I don't think I've ever had that kind of horse.
You're not for sure.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think I've asked somebody that before, like, wait, are you on a perk or something? Because I'm thinking to myself, this is taking a long fucking time.
Well, I guess to answer the question, I would have to answer it as far as the toxic and the Henny. So what would be better in my opinion? Because I guess like the Henny sometimes like it could be aggressive, and I'm not really mad at that, but it's just that sometimes it could be sleepy.
Yeah, I don't like
tired and lazy and sluggish,
and because they be doing
or sick
too much.
and about to throw up. Yeah, like I don't know. That's a little iffy. But the toxic, not that I like toxicity or anything, but they got something to prove. They got something to prove. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to.
We do not condone toxic.
Yeah, I'm not trying to condone it.
Don't say we. Speak for yourself.
Look, I said I. Look, I said I don't necessarily condone it. However, I know that they have something to prove in that state. So it's like, it's liable to be popping regardless.
But that's what makes it toxic, because you're like, damn, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways.
And then there's a throw out of that even.
Yeah,
so I might have to pick that over Henny. Once again, I don't condone it. The toxicity, but sometimes the Henny,
once again, you're not going to say
no
to it neither.
Sometimes it be, you know.
Yeah, they doing too much. They be a little tired.
I'm like, it's debatable.
It's debatable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What's yours?
Mine's is toxic. I forgot what I was thinking about a couple of days ago, but mine's going to always be toxic. No, I was on that Tito's. Tito's getting me going. But no, it's toxic, because I'm a toxic person, and I love,
I'm just something I love that you owned it like that.
I'm very honest. Mm-hmm. Like I can be very toxic. I can be very at peace, but it's been toxic for me lately, and I'm loving it.
You loving it? Okay.
All right. Well, she's definitely holding it down for all the toxic women out
I
here.
am.
Shout out to the toxic women that know how to get their man back, regardless. Y'all go.
I don't even want him back. That's the most toxic part. I don't even want him back.
No, well, good for you. But if you wanted him back, we know you know how to get him.
That part.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Yeah.
I like the kind.
I'm intrigued by your kind.
Y'all is silly. Okay, so into a serious question. So we were project babies. Now we're raising like suburban kids. So they're saying that how we were raised and how we were used to, raising a kid, that's not going to work with raising our suburban kids because they're not raised in like the projects like we were.
What's the outlook on that?
How do you feel about that?
I agree to a certain extent.
Right.
There's certain things that
can be taught.
Can be taught, and things from way back before our time, next generation back and everything. There's certain things that were taught to us that we can still teach to our children, and it will be effective.
Right.
But I do understand that they're from a different era, and they're totally different from us. Like and I'm being totally honest, like our generation and where we came from, like we technically got it how we lived. You know what I mean?
She is coming
I know she is
she
just
hurt my chest.
girl. What was that energy in Barbados at the house?
I don't know.
I'm not even gonna get you like that.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Do your thing, girl. But yeah, I feel like it is a different era versus our era. We got it how we live. These kids are more sheltered. So some of the things that we did, like I was just talking about with my friend about how we used to get sent with, little notes to go get cigarettes for our moms or whoever. Could never do that today. Not saying that was okay or anything, but I'm just saying like we had
different. We
had responsibilities and
they trust us.
Exactly, they trusted us.
Even
because
the
we
store
weren't
owners,
smoke
like,
yeah, they trusted
that,
us.
but they did.
They did
There
because
was
they
more
knew our
trust.
parents.
Right.
That's another thing. They knew our parents. The neighborhood knew everybody. It
grew
really
up
was a
together.
village.
Exactly.
Can you honestly say that everywhere that you decide to live with your children, that the neighborhood's given the same thing?
No, because
watching
across the
after?
street is beefing with
Exactly.
It
Or
don't
they're
make
minding their
sense.
business maybe, or a little nebby, but they're not really like engaged with what your
Right.
children are doing. And if they see them out there doing something bad, they would step up. You may find some people with a heart like that, but it's not exactly how it used to be when we were growing up.
Right.
So you can't really trust your kids being outside playing
Definitely.
like how we used to be.
Right.
And having friends nowadays can be a little more difficult because you might have friends in school but not at home. Oh yeah.
Right.
And also just we hold our kids' hands a little bit more. That's more
We
so
do
what I'm getting
because
at.
of the way it is now. We
yeah,
have no
like,
choice.
Don't get me wrong. I know that a lot of these things existed back when we were younger, and it's more
But it wasn't
broadcasted now because of the internet. But it wasn't as bad as it is now. There's so
Right.
many ways now to target children because we have the internet now, and they're so naive, and you know what I mean. So I feel like I agree to a certain extent as far as how we raise our suburban style
but that's
children.
just the same thing like in slavery days. Like our grandmothers installed and our mothers and they installed. So it's just a trail. You know what I mean?
It
We're
is.
gonna
So that's why I
install what
said
we can
that.
install.
Yeah, that's why I said like some ways come down and we do teach our
Right. I
children
see
and
what
it's
you're saying.
effective. But there's other ways that we have to go about things
because of the way the world is now.
they're a little softer than us and the world is a little more crazy.
Yes, it's more aggressive.
Yeah, and I think too, I feel like when we were younger, we were like catching the bus. At the age guys,
Yes.
she does not know how to catch the bus.
No.
She don't know how to cross the street by herself.
No.
She don't do anything that we
That
were at
is-
parties
no.
and
Right.
stuff. Like
It's
she's not doing
self-awareness
any of that.
isn't there for our children today.
No.
They depend on us to look both ways for them crossing the street. They depend on us to cut up their food and make their plates.
Yes.
And I feel terrible sometimes because I'm like, wow, I really sheltered my child.
Yep.
But at the same time, it was like I was protecting you, but maybe a little bit
Too
much
yeah.
in some areas. But I kind of don't regret it because the world is so crazy and you're just so gullible.
Right.
And
Right.
I just had an incident with my child recently. I told her, if I'm not around, you go to this salon by my house, you go somewhere
Safe.
it's a public place where I know the people.
Familiar
and you have my number and you call and it's not too far from the house and everything. And she felt that, she went to a neighbor's house and gave me a call. And, the neighbors weren't terrible, but I don't know those neighbors. You don't know those neighbors. And you totally disregarded what I told you to do. Like I put a plan in motion for you. And you didn't follow that. And it's stuff like that. And I gave that as an example because it's stuff like that makes you want to hold your hand, the kid's hand a lot tighter.
My thing is you should have asked her, is she aware of the salon?
Yeah.
Is she comfortable with the salon? Because maybe she wasn't comfortable with someone in there.
That's the thing. It's not even a situation like that. The neighbor was actually just like right there. And they happened to be right there. And they said, hey, want to use the phone?
Okay.
It was one of those things. And it's like, just right there off the bat, you should say, my mom said, go to the salon.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's okay. It was a mistake, and we're growing from that. And then that showed me. I needed that situation so it can show me what do you do in these situations under pressure. And now
she figured it out, but it might not have been the best thing. But then you gotta then that makes you teach her other things like, okay, do you understand what could have happened?
And we talked about that, exactly.
They could have done this to you.
They could have did this.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. So there was a lot of lessons in that, and I found out a lot of things, like we were talking about before, even though it was a different subject. But you got to go through the situation sometimes to see what you need to do about it, or how it is, you know? And now I know she don't listen. I mean, I knew that, but she really don't listen. So we got to, you know, hit it from a different angle. Yeah. We got to get it right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but just to sum it all up, these children are totally different. And I mean, they're a lot more advanced in other ways, but not in the ways that we need them to be to survive.
With technology, but I feel like with survival, they're not. Because I feel like I appreciate how I was raised. Like, I feel like the struggles that we went through made us who we are today.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I feel like with COVID and stuff, some of these kids, no shade to the parents or the kids, I feel like they kind of buckled with COVID. They were, you know, a lot of kids had to get therapy and things like that because it was like, oh, we can't go outside. And it's like, you know what I went through as a kid? You know, like, you know, some people ain't have lights, some people ain't have hot water.
Exactly.
Like, we went through a kid, you know,
staying in the house.
The things that we dealt with is like, you wouldn't even be able to survive through that.
They
but
couldn't.
I will say this, nobody's ever gone through a pandemic, including us. So it was hard for everybody. Yeah. And I kind of understand how the children buckled under pressure because being secluded from your school life, and that's like your main social life you're so young. That's that's the majority of your social life. So I kind of understand it, but I get what you mean because it's like, wow, you had to go to school from home and you had to be in your house playing with your toys and in your room or just in the house all the day. And there's so much more. So it's like, wow, really? You buckled under pressure with that? Of course we're going to see it that way because we are just cut different. But I do understand. I understand you're cut from your social life.
But I feel like if the way we were raised, we were raised that way, you know, through the struggles and stuff like that. If we went through COVID and stuff, we'd have been cool. You know what I mean?
But you know what? And I'm just playing devil's
advocate. Lights and stuff was out. Like,
but my thing is,
still you get the candles. You know what I'm saying?
Why do y'all say we went through a struggle? Y'all really feel as though we went through a struggle?
Yes.
What kind of struggle? Because now lights are still getting turned off, water's still getting turned off. We still living in the projects. At the end of the day,
that's a choice.
My thing is, what was the struggle?
I feel like the struggle is exactly what I said. It's like, you know, having to boil hot water.
Some people still do that now.
Struggle food, you know what I mean?
Some people still live through that now, so y'all can't really say we went through struggle.
I get what you're saying. You're saying these things still exist. But here's the thing.
I'm saying for us, things have changed with us where we went through struggles, but we're raising our kids different to where they don't have to go through those struggles.
Yeah, that's right. I understand that, but some of us still do. Yeah. Some of us still do at the end of the day. Yeah. So you got to speak on your struggle and not say we struggle because some of us didn't struggle.
You're absolutely right.
Because to be honest, where I was raised, how I was raised, I think it was the most peaceful days in my life. I wish we could push rewind. And go back.
No, I feel like
for sure. No,
definitely. Because I don't understand what really is a struggle. Like, because you were living in the moment, you're not understanding. Now, when I say we, because we all grew up in the projects is a struggle itself. But we all still live in the projects. Just because we got Section 8 now, like
I get what you're saying.
I don't feel as though it was a struggle.
I get what you're saying.
It didn't seem like a struggle because we were all together. We were all in it together. But when you look at it at reality,
in hindsight,
with Black African American people, that's a struggle.
Yeah.
Being on food stamps is a struggle.
Yeah. But we're still on that. Some of us wish to be on it. So what is the struggle?
I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying.
I know everybody used it just so usefully, like it was the worst thing that ever happened.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying it was the worst thing. I'm saying those situations, those struggles, obstacles that we went through made us a better person. I'm glad that I grew up the way that I grew up. You know what I mean?
I just don't like to use the word
struggle.
I
get it. I feel like you're saying like the word struggle sounds like it was just the worst of the worst. When it really wasn't. Because I really appreciated how I grew up. Like you said,
and we wouldn't
I appreciated how I grew up because it made me strong.
Definitely.
But also, like, even though some things were a little bit off, you know, like whether it was lights or whatever the case may be, I had people around me that made it seem like, no, that's not going on, you know what I'm saying? Not to, like, try to sway me away, but they still let me see the good in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, toys or whatever the case was, or us going to the park and things like that. Like, these are the things that I remember. I have great memories. I get what she's saying, because it's like you're growing up and you're watching your parents in their situation, can't speak for everyone's, but their situation, they had certain struggles that did affect you overall. You've seen it more in hindsight as an adult, because you know what it takes to be an adult and to live in this world. But you took those situations and then you redirected it when it came to your children.
Right.
So you decided you wanted to live in this neighborhood to raise your kids, or you decided you wanted them to go to this school so that you raise them. I'm not saying that everybody had that same struggle, and I'm not saying that struggle ended, because there's definitely people today that's going through some of the things that we watched some of our parents go through back then. And I wouldn't necessarily label it a struggle, but it's just that we went through different times, more so.
Right. So I'll correct
Different
myself. Not
times.
struggles. That we went through different obstacles that
I
would not put my daughter
that we didn't
in.
put our kids in that predicament
Yeah.
with. Now, there are definitely people out there who deal with the struggle that we once witnessed our parents go through, and they're still dealing with that and trying to get through it. Now, there's nothing against them or anything like that, but I get where you both are coming from, because you're like, no, like I had a great time. No, because I feel you, because I had a great time.
Swear, I
Okay,
wish we could rewind
even the
it.
food where that people call struggle meals was like fire.
But yeah, but I'm saying like those times were the best. But I'm saying it.
What do we struggle?
I wanted my daughter to grow up in a different
without
environment.
the situations that affected you
That
a certain way.
It was fine because we all were going through the same. Most of the people were going through the same things. Whether my struggle might have been different from yours, where some people's parents were on drugs. I didn't experience that, but that's a struggle where you got to take care of yourself. But I'm just saying, living in the projects and all of that, it didn't seem like a lot.
And
but
this is for surely your viewpoint from what you went through, what you are totally entitled to feel.
Right, and I'm not saying my childhood, because I had a great childhood. My mom made sure we was fed and everything.
You guys
but
were loved. You could tell that you guys were loved.
she made sure we ate and
like
everything. But I'm saying, like, people
together.
don't realize that there were some struggles that we didn't think about as kids because we were kids. But that was hard. Some of the things were kind of hard.
Because you're basically bouncing that off of the fact that the children were buckling through with COVID. So I get that. I get that, because you're basically saying, like, the things that I dealt with and you're dealing with this. But you know what? The kids that dealt with COVID, it was hard on them because their social life was ripped from them.
Right.
Our situations was hard on us because it's like, maybe you wanted to go to the park, but you couldn't because your parents or your guardian was a little bit doped up and they didn't have the energy to take you to the park. So you felt like, oh, that's broken promises right there. So now you're growing up with a complex, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I get it from both angles, but I get that you're saying, like, you know, was it really, really a struggle? And did it stop? And it's like, no, but I see your viewpoint, even though it's like a broader viewpoint.
And I guess,
I feel like you have the
I'll
broader
speak for me,
viewpoint
like
on
the
that.
things that I went through in life, and I'm not saying I had it hard because, you know, my mom made sure we had everything. But
but those things affected you. And
because I grew up, like, you know, my grandma was tough on us. So
we're not that tough on our kids.
Yeah,
you know?
but to see my kid, like, y'all acting like you can't go outside. And it's like, girl, you know what I went through as a kid? I couldn't be crying. And, you know, things that I wasn't able to do. We'll be all right.
Exactly.
So I was a little tougher with my kid.
Totally
I can't understand. I'm like, why are you so... You about to cry?
I totally get it, because you may have even had a situation that may not be considered much of a struggle, but it could have been something that you didn't like that was happening in childhood, and it affected the way you wanted to go about your kids in the future or something like that. Like, I get that. I totally do, because I mean, I went through some things, but I wouldn't take it back, and I had a ball when I was a kid. Like, I had so much fun.
Siblings and stuff. So if I went through COVID, we would have been fine because we had each other.
And I was about to say that, like, you got a house full of siblings. Like, I was raised as an only child because my siblings were already adults. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would have definitely been bored as hell in COVID. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter's an only child, so I could see that. You know what I'm saying? But still, I made my own fun. You know, I go outside and play around with sticks or some shit.
Right.
You give a kid today, like our kids, that, you know, opportunity. They'd be like, the hell is it? What am I supposed to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So I get it. It's
like I said, I'll just end it like that. I'll say the things that I went through in life made me tougher, and it made small things like COVID
and it made you want to give your kid
a better
different
life, and it made me realize that some things aren't really that serious. You know what I mean? You know, so.
But I'm definitely not going to discredit the children who were affected.
No.
I believe my child was affected deeply with COVID because she loves school.
My kids were too.
I feel like all
my
the
girls
kids
were.
I feel like all the kids. My kid was. She was the only child. All the kids were affected. But I just feel like if I grew up like that, I would have been like, I would have sucked it up. And maybe that's because I'm a homebody anyways.
That part. You grew up like that, then you wouldn't have grown up the way you did. So you wouldn't even know, in comparison, what's harder than this moment. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's a perspective thing. Like, that was the hardest thing that children went through today. Mm-hmm. And the hardest thing that some of us went through was, like you were saying, being in the projects or having parents on drugs or whatever. But that's something they went through with everybody, the world. Some of the things that
because I went through, drugs a lot of people weren't going through. That was like mainly in Black community.
And that's what I was thinking about too when this was transpiring about the struggle and what does that mean. I was thinking about, granted, drugs are a little like there's a lot more things that people do nowadays, but crack took over back in the day.
Definitely.
So a lot of people went through similar struggles. And a lot of people had those issues, you know what I'm saying? And then also, I think about it from another way, being devil's advocate. Like, back in the day, people were able to get over a little bit with fraud, or things were cheaper, you know what I'm saying? Granted, they didn't realize that today inflation would happen and things like that, but it's a lot harder. I think Courtney sometimes with this subject, because we talk about being parents, I think with this subject, you're thinking about how inflation's happened. We're going through war. We're going through the pandemic. And as parents, that's a lot on us. Like, we really kill ourselves to try to give our kids this life that we feel like we would have wanted. And they probably don't even really want that damn life. It's something that we want for them because we know what we dealt with before with certain things.
Right.
You know
and then sometimes
I'm
I think, I'm like, I wish I would have let my daughter grow up in the projects. You know what I mean? I'm like, sometimes I do wish that. Like,
why?
I guess she's saying, like, to give her more of an experience so that she could have more awareness. Now, I mean, I wouldn't disagree or agree with what you're saying, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel that way, but I feel like sometimes I wish that I would have let go a little bit with certain things with my daughter.
I agree with you on that.
always sat there and explained to her situations and how to go about things, like watch your surroundings, listen to your surroundings, so that you know what's going on around you. You can't just be in the moment, not paying attention to things that's around you.
Right.
But I could say that till I'm blue in the face. You have to be faced with those situations.
Yeah, because you might frighten them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to do that either.
Definitely.
You want them to know what's going on in the world, but not everything, because that innocence, that childlike innocence, you don't get that back.
Right, and I don't talk to
it's
her
complicated.
Like that. So let's go to the next question, because we only got like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right. So when a man marks his territory, what does he normally leave at your house?
That's hilarious.
Him. He don't never want to leave.
She said, "Would you please leave?" Bye.
I don't have that situation currently, but
not even. It don't gotta be a dude. Like,
historically, I've had that situation. It'd be like, I need to come get my necklaces, my chains, and stuff like that. Like, damn well.
You fake ass chains.
Let me
shut up. Let me like, no.
Not talking about nobody from today, but historically, that was a situation like the chains,
so they
little stupid stuff. Yeah, like little stupid stuff. Like, if you don't grab everything in one swoop and get the hell on,
that part, or clothes, or phones,
yeah,
like
little
that.
shit like
what about
that.
the gun on the dresser?
No.
Ain't nobody leaving their down.
No, not leaving their down guns. We got kids. Or take that shit with you.
You got an idea who you deal with.
Right. No, I don't want that no more. Okay. All right. I guess we kind of went through that question already. But I guess we can. Have you ever felt like you were sleeping with an enemy?
Yes.
Yeah. All the time. It's like, I'm joking.
What makes you realize, like, he's the op for real?
Because he's against everything you say. Like, he don't show that care, that love. Like,
I just want to sound
okay, but no, it's just how, like, it can be how he treats you, like he's against you.
Yeah,
and I don't like that. It's very uncomfortable. But then you turn around and still hit that. So how do you really feel?
You just fucking up.
I don't like your mindset, but I like your mindset. Nah.
What you got to say?
Well, I would agree with what you said, because I feel like you're going to know based off of them being against most of the things you got going on. Then you got that negative energy you could feel, your tuition, a lot of things. Like, you could be so excited about something and they be like,
Swear. Give you that cold. Yeah, that happened to me before.
Yeah, like with anything that you come to them with because you want to share something with them because they're special to you, they're just kind of against it.
You can feel that shit.
Yes.
Or if they are secretly competing with you, that is a thing. That is a thing.
That is something.
That is
There's so many people that like are in denial about the fact that the opposite sex could be competing with you. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because it shouldn't be that, but
Especially
it happens.
if you're a male. Like, how do you feel competing with a female?
They will never admit it, though.
They won't, because they already feel low. That's why they keep it to themselves.
Exactly. Right. But if you got that complex, you might want to go see someone about that. Look, I'm always trying to refer somebody to a damn therapist. You might want to talk to somebody about that.
But I think we all need therapy. I agree. Nothing's wrong with that.
I say all the time, therapists have therapists, and we know.
Yes, I love it. I think that, if I had the chance, I would definitely get therapy. I think everybody should get it, especially our black men.
It's just finding the right therapist.
Right.
That part.
Compatibility.
And that's why a lot of people.
Compatibility. Because, you could be talking to the wrong person. They can't relate.
Okay, I'm going to ask one of Candace's questions. She has some pretty good ones. Would you be mad if your boo cried over a deceased ex?
No, I'm very caring. Like, now, that's a boo.
Boo, your dude, whoever.
Yeah, well, your significant other.
It depends on, like I said, if it's my boo, no, at the end of the day. But relationship, if we're in a relationship, then yeah, we've been in a relationship and you crying.
Like, get the hell up.
Yeah, why is you even, like, how did you find out? Was it on the news? Like, y'all still keeping in touch. Like,
wait a minute.
I didn't even think of that.
She said, how did you find out?
That
He
part.
crying. He like, how did you
I need to get to the bottom of this. Pick them tears up. Let's get to the bottom of this. Then I'll be able to comfort you or mug you. I don't know.
I'm screaming.
So it depends on how they were told, like how they.
Yeah.
And the status of what you are with that person.
But I don't know. It depends. Like if I know him genuinely and he is a caring person like me, because something happened to my ex like today. The bond that me and my exes have is so strong. So I would cry. I would care, especially because you're thinking about his family, his kids. You know what I mean? So
take that shit somewhere else. Don't cry in front of me.
Oh.
Just take that shit. For me, I'm talking to myself about myself. If you cry over here, take that shit somewhere else.
So you mean to tell me if you mess with an ex
it's happened. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. It was horrible.
So he's not allowed to cry about his ex? But you're not the only person he met that he cares for.
No. Keep that. I'm not saying that you can't express those emotions. Just don't do it in front of me. Do it with someone else.
So would you allow your man to have a friend? A female friend?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? If they were friends.
I'm saying
don't do it.
That's different from the question because the question is referring to an ex.
I understand it's an ex, but he's no longer with her anymore.
But why are you I don't know.
Because they shared a bond before. Just like it's a relationship. Every relationship have a bond. So what's the difference?
Because I guess I'm looking at if something happened to one of my exes and I want somebody else, I'm going to take those emotions somewhere else. I'm not putting that baggage on someone else. I'm going to deal with it myself, or I have friends, I have family where I can take those emotions.
But I'm going to say this.
I'm not
You're an empath. I can tell. She can be empathetic at times, but
she's like, bitch, you're horrible.
Something that she possesses in her personality on a regular. No. So I see that there's going to be agree to disagree with this. I understand both standpoints. I do understand both.
How would you feel?
Me, I feel both of you, but for me personally, I'm an empath, so I understand that this will bother you. I get it, because as an empath, you do take in it all. Like, wow, like I knew that person, and depending on how they passed away, and then thinking about their family.
Courtney thinking like, yeah, she's gone.
Sorry. I would never think that. No.
Might as well.
I guess I look at situations how I deal with them, and I need to stop doing that. Like I I deal with my shit internally. I don't put my baggage on other people.
That's why I said that about her.
Don't do
She
that.
internalizes things. And
I just don't. And again, how I was raised raised to be tough. Like, there's certain things that we weren't able to do. So it's like,
see, well, I was raised to be loved. And
I was loved, but
I'm not saying you weren't, but I'm just saying, like, my mom loved everyone.
Yeah.
That's how she literally loved everyone. I'm not allowed to use the word hate. None of that.
So we're not allowed to use that either. But
you can see it from the bigger picture. I get what you're saying. You can see it from a selfless standpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling you selfish.
No, I know.
But in that situation, you would probably instantly resort to seeing it from a selfish standpoint.
Yeah.
I will say that it would be a conflict. I would be slightly selfish because I would be thinking like, I'd be in my head a little bit depending on the circumstances. Like, wow, like they had something deeper than I thought, but that would probably be based off of maybe something that I've known. Maybe it would be a situation where that person told me that, we wasn't even really all like that.
Yeah,
and then something happened
okay.
and it's like, maybe it was all like that. So I'd be in my head a little bit, but I'm understanding as well. So it's like, I get that.
What would be the difference if you found out he was crying because his ex passed and you heard it from the grapevine? Would you still be upset that he was crying?
I wouldn't be upset that he's crying regardless of if I seen it from my face.
What about you, Court?
Or if I heard about it. It's just more so of depending on the circumstances. If I didn't know that they were that close, that would be probably the only thing that would have me a little in question in my mind. But I'm not going to come at this person like that because I understand you're going through something, and that would be me making it harder on you. You know what I'm saying? And then also, it's no shade to no one. I would feel foolish for feeling a way about someone who's no longer here, or feeling a way about someone who wasn't even intimately with the person I'm with, and I have them. I have them now.
But
you know
I guess
what I mean?
for me,
I would feel a little foolish
but
about
for me,
being
it can make you.
that.
It's not a thing about being jealousy. It's about respect. It's like,
I get it.
Okay, it's like,
I do get it.
It makes you feel like, especially, I guess it depends.
It's how they're
on,
grieving in your face
not
about
even
it. Maybe
that, but I think it also deals with how they were dealing with that person.
Yeah.
If you were. You get in situations and guys are ping ponging and not telling you the truth, and they end up messing with two different girls. So then, okay, you end up.
Well, that's different.
Okay,
that's what I said. It depends on the circumstance.
But
on
then
how
they end
I would
up being
feel.
with you. Then they're crying. It's like, well, damn, you're making me feel like you made a horrible decision. Like, you're crying. It's like, I don't know. I was raised a little different. I feel like if you're going to do that, just don't do it in front of me.
I would, to be honest, I would feel that. Don't get me wrong. I would have thoughts, but I'm still going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I stand on it because, I love you. I hate to see you hurting.
Right.
And it hurts me to see you hurting. Even though it's about somebody that has nothing to do with me, this obviously affects you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And don't get me wrong, I think that was a bet that for me, I regretted that. That was a really, really tough time. In times like that, challenge your relationships, and it shows you how you're going to end up.
You
and
did the best you could do in that situation specifically.
But you was being honest. You was being real with yourself and with that person. So it doesn't matter.
Because I feel like there's been situations where people will take my kindness for granted, and it's like, okay, now you're doing too much. Now you want to do this, and it's like, you're not the fucking boyfriend. Now now you're just doing way too much.
But you know what? That's big. Because hindsight is 20/20, and you're realizing because you are a lot older from that situation that maybe I could have, thought about it this way or went about it that way.
Right.
But you handle it based off of how you felt, and you were true to yourself about how you felt in that moment.
Right.
So that's really all you could have done. And like I said, you handled that situation the best you could because I am aware of that situation.
And like I said, I would have done things differently, but at that moment, that's just how I felt, and it wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't nothing about that.
That's
it was
just how you felt.
Yeah,
just how
I
I
only
felt.
said jealousy because that's what my mind would have resorted to initially. I'm not going to even play like, nah, I wouldn't know. I would have felt that at first. It depending on how much I see this person grieving over somebody. If I wasn't truly aware of where they stood with each other. And a little bit of jealousy would have came up, but I'm still going to be there.
Right, and like I said, it's not about jealousy or anything like that. It's people say things, and they'll say how they react in that situation, but I'm telling you, sometimes you'll say that, but when it comes down to it, you'll react a totally different way. You haven't been in a situation, and then it also goes about how long you're going to grieve about this person. Okay, come on now. This been like a fucking year. Like, what do you want to be with? Like, do you want to be in the same situation? Like, it's been too fucking long.
Oh my God, I'm over it.
Like, okay.
She was like, all right, now.
Crying, like,
all right,
okay,
time is up. All right. I'm screaming.
No,
but that happened to me before. That's why I'm like, I can answer this question because
it's like
you're going to have mixed emotions, but
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of once you feel how you feel about the situation, that's where you come about and put everything on the table. Once it's time,
communication.
You can ask.
Yeah,
I'm all about communication.
Right.
That's
Me
why
too.
I can sit there and take so much, and when it's time for me to have the floor, please let me have it, because I'm gonna put everything on.
And
it.
like I said, that probably wasn't the best decision. That was like probably made our relationship really bad. So I regretted that, but I mean,
that is no need to regret. You
Definitely.
these are lessons you just learned,
Yep.
and you learned. What you just sat here and said is that you basically learned. You
Yep.
felt like you could go about it differently.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
that.
Because in my situation,
that.
honestly, like I would have appreciated more transparency, but that's not what I got. You know what I'm saying?
And
but we talked about that
Right.
situation and we grew from that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, you live and you learn through these things. You
Right.
don't, you like
And
you
I
said, you really don't know how you gonna feel in a situation until it happens. So you're right about that.
Right, and yeah, that's just how it went.
But transparency would help in a
Yeah.
situation like that for sure. Communication.
Yeah, it was yeah. But that's it. Going through like death and things like that in a relationship is very hard. It
sure.
determines you. Stuff like that can determine your relationship.
How
if you
strong
can't,
you are, if you can make it through.
If you can't make it through things like that, then it's not going to last.
Those are those challenges that you need to. Well, not that you need, but that will let you know.
Right. Okay, let's one more of Candace's questions. Do you think it's sexy or controlling when your man is upset with you popping out on looks?
Oh, with your pop out looks, like
Okay.
you know, when you get all dolled up to go out,
Mm-hmm.
you know how sometimes they're like, "Where you going tonight?" or whatever the case
I like
is.
that.
I know you love that, but do you find that to be attractive, or do you think that's like a tad bit controlling?
I
You
think
see
it's
that as a
controlling.
red flag, you know?
I think it's controlling, because if he's not, where you going? Okay, boo. Like
That's
that,
different.
That's different.
Tone and all that. That's
it
totally
depends
different.
on how he's delivering where you're going. But if he be like, you ain't wearing that, or if you get an attitude after that,
mood
it's
change.
controlling. Yup.
I agree. I think it's how they go about doing it. Like, you got to let me know you're jealous in a certain way. A friendly jealousy is fine, but
No, because that friendly jealousy
no, but
is,
what I mean by that is like,
please explain.
What I mean by it's like, okay, I'm looking cute. Like, where are you going with that? I don't
he
like
gating.
No. No, when they're complimenting you, like, you look good. Where you going? Like, I'm sure.
Then they got to smack your ass
Yeah,
down.
I get what she's
like,
saying.
they're letting you know, like, you look cute.
I get what she's saying, because I know what you're saying too. Like, hold on, because there's seriousnly in every joke now.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
So what
and
you
I be
mean? But she ain't
hiding
mean it like
yeah,
that.
no, I've been through that, but no, I meant like a friendly type of jealousy where like they're jealous, but it doesn't mean anything. There's no ill
They're kind of
intention.
complimenting you, but they
I
can't
ain't
just.
get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
the,
so
the
there's no
control.
ill-
She's
one.
talking about like they're complimenting you, but saying it in that way, like, oh, don't get fucked up. Like,
yeah,
you know.
no.
Oh yeah, I got it in that way. I got it
Yeah,
that
like
way.
I like that. Like let me know.
No,
I
he's
look-
gating. It's like, no.
See, that's what's wrong with black people. No, that's not what I meant. Clear the audience. That's not what I
I'm
meant.
crying.
So no, like even they let you know you look cute, but they ain't
Yeah,
like they know. Basically, they know if you go out, niggas is gonna be
You about to
looking
kill
at
the
you.
scene.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
part.
I don't like that. Like how you gonna be wearing that?
Little
Mm-mm.
territorial.
But what I don't like, and this things happen when they start trying to like tear your clothes and shit. Like you're not fucking wearing this, and it's like
No,
that's
I ain't never had that.
controlling.
You've gone
that
through
is
a different
controlling.
situation from me, but I get what you're saying. When they starting to like trying to sabotage,
Like stop you from sabotage you from what
Yeah.
you're trying to do. And
Yeah.
It's like that now. I don't like that, but let me know you.
Oh, if you don't
you're
see that
aware
as
of
a
who the
red
fuck
flag,
I am.
right? And if you don't see that right there as a red flag, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a part of the problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you allowing things that you shouldn't be allowing.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you ruin any item that I own, because I'm a stylist, I love my clothes, my
Right.
shoes, my
Right.
purses, my hats. You ruin something because you feel like, oh, I don't want people looking at you. I don't know. That might be a deal breaker because I know you ain't in here.
Right, and that
I
goes
know you
back to our
fucking lying.
conversation.
Just ain't having no
But that
tangent.
goes back to our conversation we had
I'm gonna
last
get to
time.
that. Let me do something to your shit.
That goes back to our conversation last time. There were times where people just didn't know their worth. At that time, I'm young. I didn't realize that's controlling, and I'm thinking like, okay, he just loves me, and he, being kind of gullible in that situation. Now I know
Yeah.
any red flag and a guy start acting controlling, you're done.
Yeah.
Like now
Not
I
any
know.
red
I had to
flag?
learn. Like I just realized that that's not how
What you
somebody
say?
loves you.
She's done like any control,
Like when they start acting controlling, yeah, you're done. Any signs of
So,
control,
but you
been
know
trying to
something?
control me, yes.
I get what you're saying, and I know why you're asking that. I just know
Because
why
it
you're
might be
asking.
cute,
Because
but
it could
he
be like a
might-
take a lead thing. Huh?
Yes!
That's different.
how? No, because
taking lead and being controlling.
Yes,
That's just
Totally
like
different.
basically I just explained my difference. What I like is when you're letting me know that I look cute and there's no ill intentions behind it. But when I can see that you're being controlling and you're trying to control me and there's definitely ill intentions behind that, and if I see that, you're done. Because again, back then I didn't notice those red flags. So once I see you start acting crazy, doing like stuff that's like, okay, he might be a little dangerous.
Nah, I get it.
I'm out of there.
I get it.
But no, my ex was controlling, but he wasn't dangerous. He wasn't.
Neither. I didn't have. They weren't dangerous, but they were controlling.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that you were representing for toxicity. You said, you know what? He was controlling, but you know, I like that shit because it wasn't dangerous. I didn't feel like I was in harm.
Because I know he wouldn't have hurt me, but he would have hurt somebody
about me.
Okay,
and that's how I looked at it too. Like I know this guy.
But I'm just telling you, don't think everyone that's controlling is dangerous. That's all I'm saying.
I guess she's like she's looking for certain type of controlling traits, and she's like,
that they're dangerous or nothing like that. What I'm saying,
you said a red flag. I'm done.
Yes, I'm saying when they start acting controlling and trying to control my life and try to get me to act different than who I am.
I was going to say, you know what you figure out. What is the red flag to her? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
What is the red flag
medium,
for her?
There's a small controlling medium and a, you in here.
I think it's
I'm right here.
Yeah, I think it's very much so depending on what she finds to be the red flag. Because I get it from both perspectives. Because some things are not meant to be taken out of context.
Right.
And some things you're not supposed to overlook either. Like, oh, hold on. Because if you could be like this about that, I would hate to see how you can get about this. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
It's like if I notice anything, there's any ill will against anything, then I'm just done. I'm like, nope, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
That's all. But we got to wrap it up because we got to go. So thank you, Troopers. Thanks for coming.
Me too. I'm like, oh.
Till next time. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. You guys want any closings, anything you want to say?
I want to share it too.
Oh, share it. Oh, yeah, and share it too. Share it too. Okay. And
thanks
check
for
out
having
Candace
us
on Facebook.
Yes,
Candace Randall for being she's a fashion stylist. So if you need her, hit her up.
NCR__XIII on Instagram.
There you go. Hit her up. Bye, Troopers.
Bye.